By Break Tru TV at gmail.com. This is a live stream. We may be running a little bit late, but that's how live stream goes sometimes. It's a lot of work, a lot of technical issues, but that's what we choose to do. And as I said, this program is about what's in your mind. Also, I have a rant later on, and I'm hoping to speak to also a guest later on in the program. So let me start by looking at a few of the things that's happening around the world in the last week or so. In the UK, hospital emergencies are at breaking point, with a number of patients swamping A&E. And this is causing fear, or some would say it may also cause loss of life. COVID-19 restrictions. The final part of the restrictions is still in place. And I don't think that will actually be removed until about the 19th of July. You know, when everybody can be happy in whatever they want to do, and you know how it goes. But the COVID thing we're in is just, you know what I mean, it's just, will it ever end, I wonder? Will it ever stop? And will it ever go back to being normal, you know? We don't know. And as I said, the last final parts of the restrictions are still in place. But the PM has said by the 19th of July, hopefully, the final restriction will be lifted. Me personally, I don't know. I'm very skeptical. I'm not what you call a prophet of doom, you know. But I'm still very, very skeptical. And even it's what is now. It's like the heart of summer now, isn't it? So we get to August, we get to September, and then probably, you just never know, because we're back into the autumn, and we'll be back into the cold. So it's one of them ones, you know, so I don't know. Moving on. In Brazil actually has the highest amount of coronavirus deaths. They're second behind the US. In Brazil, there also been a lot of protests. People are very unsatisfied with the government. They have said, you know, he hasn't been doing enough. It's like he doesn't know what's going on in the country. You know what I mean? So, and I say the COVID there is very, very bad. You know what I mean? And I think I thought at some stage there's like something about 2,000 people a day are dying. And we hope things change in that country very, very soon. But it's not good. It is just not good over there. It is just not good. And as I said, they're not very happy with their leader, because he doesn't sort of recognize that people sometimes should wear masks, or you know what I mean. And he's not a big fan of the vaccine. You know what I mean? He seems to just do what he wants to do. You know what I mean? So I say there's been a lot of protests, and a lot of people is just absolutely not happy with him. France. Moving on to France. In France, a woman who shot dead her abusive husband, and she had her children to help her to bury him in the woods, is on trial for murder. The case has actually fueled a debate and conjugal violence. And I said, this man has been very, very abusive to this lady. And he's a lot older than her. You know what I mean? He's a lot older than her. And she's been very abusive to her over the years. So it's fueled a lot of things, you know what I mean? And his name is actually Derek Paulette. So we don't know how that one's gonna turn out. And you know what I mean? A lot of people say this lady shouldn't even be on trial for that sort of situation. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. It's only the courts. It's gonna make a decision. In South Africa, wow. South Africa, there has been a great diamond rush in South Africa. A lot of people been digging. I mean, about some 3,000 people been digging like a couple of special spots in South Africa. And they've been looking for diamonds. And I think the only diamonds they've actually found is quartz crystals. Now, quartz crystals is like diamonds, but it's not diamonds. So when they've tested it, they find out that it was fake. But you know what? I guarantee you, you know what I mean? Someone, you know what I mean, would get some of that and start trading it around the world, whether it be on the internet, whether it be online or wherever, and say this is real diamonds. I could see that actually happening. Moving on to Ethiopia. Ethiopia this week has had an election. And parts of Ethiopia face famine, humanitarian crisis, and all that sort of thing. And they've been voting for the leader you see on the screen. And some people liked him and some people don't like him, because they say parts of the region, mainly Tigray, thousands of people has died in Tigray. And it's been going on for such a long time. And the UN has said it is a humanitarian disaster. So we hope, even if the current president is elected again, he is able to sort some good things out, because Ethiopia is a big country. And Ethiopia over the years had suffered a lot. It's time. It's well time now. You know, it stops suffering. Yeah? And as I say, I hope something good will come out of that election. In Jamaica. You know, always when I come to Jamaica, I say that's... There's a reason why I said that, but I'm not going to tell you why. But it's one of those ones, you know. Anyway, in Jamaica, according to the Jamaica Observer, some 110 fathers has been celebrating at a well-known park in Jamaica. And they've been celebrating good fathers, you know what I mean? And fathers who are very good to their children. And fathers who are real father. Because you know, you got some fathers who are real fathers. Not just sperm donors. Yeah? Yes. So, they've been celebrating. And a lot of these fathers has received an award. So we say big shout out to all you good fathers. You're the good fathers. Good on you. And keep doing what you're doing. And when you're good to your children and you're a good father to the children, that will be passed on to the next generation of children, isn't it? So big shout out to you guys. Big shout out to you. I really, really like that story, because sometimes you hear some negative things, you know, from those Caribbean islands, you know what I mean? And it's good to see. I mean, there's always positive things, you know what I mean? But sometimes people start to just push the negative, you know? And it's good to see some good news coming out there and some positive stuff. And as I say, fathers doing what they should do and helping the next generation of children. Yeah. We come on to sports. Sports. Yeah, well, sports. You know, I'm a big motor racing fan. And a big fan of the man himself, Lewis Hamilton. He actually got nearly the same top as I have, and not really. I'm going to get one of Lewis Hamilton's top, or one of Mercedes will give me one of his tops. Yeah, they could actually give me one of his tops. You know, we could actually promote it on this show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So, Max Verstappen has won the French Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton came second, and I think Mercedes didn't execute the plan that they had properly. So I think that's what happens in there. And also, moving on, there's a swimmer, a young swimmer. Yes. Now, this swimmer is a British, African, Caribbean swimmer. Alice Daring has qualified for the British swimming team in Tokyo, which is marvelous. And I love that, because at one time them used to say, black people can't swim. So that just knocks that out the water, totally. And I know maybe we've been slow to, a bit slow to sort of pick up and swim. You know, I could swim for a very long time. And how can you live on an island? A lot of us who came from an island or was born on that island can't swim. England is an island as well. You know what I mean? So even though a lot of people don't think it's an island, but it is an island. So how can you live on an island and can't swim? Well, I said I'm really proud of that lady, and I hope she does very, very well. And as I say, I remember the very first time when I was very, very young. Now let me tell you. Let me have a bit of fun with you now. When I was very, very young, you know, I think I asked this wonderful lady. We was kids. I was still at school, and I asked this girl to come swim with me. She looked at me and think me was mad. And it has stuck with me for all these years. She looked at me and said, "Oh, what this man a talk about?" I wasn't a man. I was a kid. I was a boy. Oh, what this man a talk about? Go swimming. So I don't know if that was just that's how they see things at that particular time. But well on you, Alice. Well on you. Good on you, girl. Good on you. So I will look forward to see, we'll be supporting her, in Tokyo. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Right. What can I say? The Euro football. Now, Raheem Sterling has took England. I know it's a team, but I'm going to say Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling has took England into the last 16. Now, Raheem Sterling scored. Let me say this. Raheem Sterling is the only one that's scoring any goal for England. That's easy, isn't it? He's the only one that's scoring any goal for England. England hasn't got any other strikers. That man has been through a lot over the years. He's taken abuse. He's taken racial abuse. He's taken abuse from social media. And you see what he's doing now. And you watch what he'll do next. What happened to the captain of England? Where is he? What is he doing? I say it's a team sport, but what's happened to the captain of England? What are they doing? So, big shout out to you, Raheem Sterling. Fantastic. Great. Let me give you a big share. Love it, lads. Yes. And you're also an influence to all those younger footballers who's trying to do and getting into the game and trying to do very well. That's my say on that one. I couldn't help it. Anyway, I should tell you, England did beat the Czech Republic after all that. And Scotland is actually out of the Euro, to be quite honest. And the other thing I must say to you now, another thing, England has never won the Euro. Could it be their year this year? They've never won the Euro. The last time they won something that big, which was the World Cup, was in 1966. But they've never won the Euro. So we see what happens. We see what happens there. Let me move on to entertainment. The hitman's bodyguard, the hitman wife's bodyguard, has what you call mash up the place. It has taken an $11.6 million. It stars Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. And as I say, it has debuted at the highest place, #1, top. So I am looking forward to seeing that. It should be very, very, very good. Because I do like Samuel L. Jackson anyway. You know, I mean, he's a very good actor. I first saw, I mean, I know Samuel L. Jackson has been in a couple of things, but actually first saw Samuel L. Jackson in a film called Coming to America. And if you remember, he was the guy in the that went into the sort of McDonald's there. He was a McDowell. They call it McDowell. He was the one that went into the McDowell restaurant and he stick up the place. And then the character, Simi and Semi, is it Simi and Semi? The characters Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall played. Knock him out. That was Samuel Jackson. I know, I gotta stop. I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun. See, when I'm having so much fun, see, I'm giving my producer a headache. Right. Now, time to stop the fun. Because, you know, as I say, when I'm having so much fun, my producer gets worried. I don't know why. I don't know why he gets worried like that, but he, you know, what I mean, he does, because he's, you know, he's something there. But without fun, you know what I mean, fun is good. It's good. It's good to have. It's good to have a lot of fun. You know what I mean. And it's good to enjoy yourself. You know what I mean. And good to, you know what I mean. I like having fun. I like enjoying myself. And I'm a very, as you can see, I've reached a stage in my life when I'm a very sort of happy person. Yes, that's sort of. I'm a very happy person because I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy a lot of different things. You know what I mean? And I spend a lot of my time outdoors, especially in the summer. I spend a lot of my time outdoors. Even in the winter, I do spend a lot of my time outdoors. I like walking, running, jogging because I was born in the outdoors. So I do like that sort of thing, and it's great to do that. You know what I mean? And it's great to have fun like that, and it's great to enjoy yourself like that and be where you want to be. And don't forget, as I say before, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And Break Tru TV also has the reggae jam jerk chicken, which is actually marvelous. Check it out. And also, we do a live stream, which is you can get in touch with us as well. And we do a live stream at funerals, at parties. At parties, we bring the whole works, the total package. And the total package is quite reasonable. So you can get in touch with that, you know what I mean? I have and you know, we get in touch with us, and we provide a very, very good service on video promotion. Also, if you want to record music, whatever that sort of thing you want to do, Break Tru TV, just get in touch, and we will provide that service for you. And it's a very dedicated, provide maximum service with a lot of respect. You know, you see some people and you think they do something for you, you think, oh, what am I doing? What kind of thing that? No, it doesn't work like that here, you know what I mean? As I said, this program is coming live stream to you. Maybe at the start you will see a little bit of technical issue, but not a lot of people does live stream. So this is what we do. And I say I'm talking to you directly here with a live stream, and so you can get in touch with us. And as I say, it's breaktrutv@gmail.com. And what do you let me ask you then, what have you sort of been doing in this weather? What have you been doing? And you know what I mean, what have you been doing? Have you been enjoying the summer? Or what have you been doing? Because is it summer all over the world now? No, some places going into winter, and I think it's in the maybe the other side of the world. Some places are ahead of us. In the west they're behind, and in the east they are ahead of us. And don't forget, please, you can share this right now. You know what I mean? It's a live stream, and you can share it right now. Please do that for us, Joe. And I say, it's like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, thank you. So, it's time for my little rant. Now, rant. It's a rant. It's a rant, and it's, it's a rant and it's not a rant. Let me go. 73 years ago, people arrive in the Windrush ship. They arrive from the Caribbean countries. And let's say people arriving from 1948 to 1971 from those islands has been described. They've been labeled Windrush Generation. And it refers to the ship MV Empire Windrush, which docked in Tilbury on the 22nd of June 1948, bringing workers from Jamaica, Trinidad, and other Caribbean islands. And at the particular period of time, Britain was coming out, the war had finished. And Britain needed people to work. And these people come to the UK to work, to help build Britain, to put Britain back on the map, to make Britain the so-called great empire that it has become. Yes. And these people, some came, some was nurses, some was bus drivers, some was cleaners from all over the Caribbean. Yeah. And they got to work to what they say, building Britain. And what I must say is big respect to those people, maximum respect. And a lot of people call them the Windrush Generation. I don't call them the Windrush Generation because I never really liked that ship anyway. Never liked that ship. I know. I call them the pioneers. The pioneer workers who helped build this country. Over the years, as time gone by, some of those people have been betrayed. They've been demonized. They've been treated badly. They've been treated rudely. They've been treated aggressively. And that's on top of racism. Yeah, that's on top of racism as well. So they've got all this sort of thing to deal with. And without the strength and whoever the ancestors were that keeping them going, they managed to pull through. Some gone on to be better educated. Doctors, nurses, health workers, carers, to make a better life for themselves and their family. Now, moving on. Let's come into the 70s. The generation, because some of those kids that was on the Windrush has grown up. They're coming in 18, 19, 20. They're moving up into age. You know what I mean? From 48 and 10, 58 and 10 is 68. So we got 28 years. So they have moved up. So these people had children who was moved up into life. And they was doing great as well. There was a lot of them was doing fantastic. But the racism has always been there. You know what I mean? The racism has always been there. And they had to fight hard for jobs. And there was a time in the 60s, no blacks, you know what I mean? All that sort of stuff. That word still annoys me. You know what I mean? That word still annoys me. And you can see why that word still annoys me. No blacks, no dogs, no this. And they refer to African Caribbean people like that. You know? Which is total disrespect. And this is the same people that come over to build the damn country. Yes. Massive disrespect. As I say, in the 70s, racism was just ridiculous. A lot of things was happening. And the other thing as well, what a lot of people seem to misunderstand, even though they had changed the rules in the early 70s, a lot of people seem to realize that these people, there was our British citizen, there was Commonwealth citizen. In 70s, they changed the rules. They changed the rules, and they tear up the rule book and says, oh, you're no longer British citizen. You have to do this and you have to do that. You have to do that. You have to do that. I mean, I got family member who actually changed their passport. They actually did, they didn't come on the Windrush, but they actually changed their passport from Jamaican passport. They came on a Jamaican passport, but they then changed their passport from Jamaican passport to a British passport. By doing that, you have to be registered as a British citizen and get a British passport. But you was already, I should laugh, but he was already a Commonwealth or British citizen. You see the disrespect there. And they haven't been doing this to nobody else. They haven't been doing this to nobody else. In 2017, something strange starts surfacing. And what has emerged is that hundreds of Commonwealth citizens, or who was Windrush generation, had been wrongly detained and denied legal rights. So their story is starting to emerge from some Caribbean leaders, from the press, and as I say, from different sources. The Caribbean leaders took issue with this. And the PM at the time was Theresa May. And she said she was shocked. She was going to do this and she was going to do that and she was going to do that. And I don't know what happens. Now, there was a talk about sort of compensation. Now, very few people has got their compensation. A lot of people has been locked up. A lot of people has been deported. And very few people has got what you call compensation. Even people has died waiting for this so-called compensation, which is absolutely a betrayal, a total betrayal of people who was already British citizen, yes, and also Commonwealth citizen. And the Home Office discrimination, what you could call discrimination rules, you know what I mean? Because you can't call it anything else except discrimination rules. The Home Office discrimination rules that discriminate against immigrants. It was absolutely disgusting, and I think that came in around the what they call the so-called bad vibes. I think that actually came in about 2012. You know what I mean? And it was a law that discriminates against Commonwealth citizen or people from the Caribbean. It was what you call the hostile environment legislation policy, which harmed a lot of the Windrush generation. And it treating them unjust. And the story is not over. No, the story is not over. And we hope one day, maybe when I'm probably dead and gone, it's going to be sorted out, because it has been a betrayal of what I say Commonwealth citizen, or what I say was originally British citizen. And they've changed the rules. And how can you have a British passport where you was born and a Commonwealth citizen where you came to this country, and then suddenly they tear up your papers and says, oh, go back where you come from. This is no longer applied to you. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I talk about that because it's been Tuesday gone was actually Windrush Day. And I know it's a celebration, but it's important. Because a lot of people just think Windrush. A lot of people think Windrush is a ship and that's it. And they don't know what is going on. They're going on what is going on. I don't know everything that's going on. And this is a very short program to tell you the whole range of what is going on. You know what I mean? But you need to get into this and have a look for yourself and see what is going on, because it has been a betrayal, it has been corruption, and it has been treated those people very, very badly. Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. And as I keep saying, these people had British passports. They were Commonwealth citizens. Okay, a lot of people now has changed their passports to British. And then even the generation that has born in this country, some of them, I don't know how long it takes before they actually become a British citizen, which is ridiculous. From you're born into a country, you should be automatically a resident of that country, you know, or you should be already a citizen of that country, wherever you're born. You know what I mean? Some people say, you know, I know one religious actually says, I'm not going to say who the religious sect is, but I know one religious sect says, I'm a citizen of the world. They may have a very good point there. May have a very, very good point. Moving on to my next rant. Quickly, because our time is running. My next rant is, wow, in, what year is it? It's 2021. Last year, we have the death, George Floyd. And we had a lot of protests. Black Lives Matters. And a lot of people said they was going to do this and they was going to do that and this was going to happen and that was going to happen and that was going to happen. Have you guys seen any of these things happening? Football. We see football where players are taking the knee. Some players are taking the knee. And then when some players take the knee, some football runs out, boo! Which is ridiculous. Which is absolutely ridiculous. Certain MPs don't recognize Black Lives Matter. They say it's a political movement. It's not a political movement. So they hit out on it. And I think the Football Association says they was gonna do this to encourage more African Caribbean people into football. But I don't think it's happening because years after, we haven't seen it. It hasn't happening. So what is going on? And when you look at the picture, I think there should be access to some picture that would show up and tell you what is going on, because we need to look back at this in our database and see what we can find. Because I'm asking, does Black Lives still matter? And people gonna say, yes, God, we still matter. What you talk say? But I wonder, does it really matter anymore? And we've got very, very few. I think I got the figures here. We've got very, very few. I can find the figures. We've actually got very, very few football managers in this country. There's a lot of football players out there. I'm picking on football for the moment. There's a lot of football players out there. We hardly ever see any football managers. Very, very few football coaches we ever see to jump into that stage. After they retire, where did they go? I remember the one manager I can talk to that comes straight to me is John Barnes, who played for England. And when he played for England, I remember he used to get even a bad time from racist people. Yeah. But I think he managed probably 2 clubs. And I don't know what happened after that. I think the coach, the England youth, I think it's the England youth team. They've actually got an African Caribbean coach. You know what I mean? Yeah, the England youth team. And it's like that. And in women football, it don't exist in women football. Because there's women football. You know, a lot of people don't think there's but there's women football. In women football, it don't exist. You know what I mean? And even the very, very few, considering the game is so big, there's very, very few African Caribbean, British African Caribbean people in the women's game. It's not because they can't play rubbish. I remember back in the 70s or in the 80s when you read the archives, they used to say, let me say it then, they used to say black people can't play forward. So they used to make them defense. Or they used to put them at the back of the pitch and they wouldn't let them be forwards. You know what I mean? And even when they get a chance to be forwards, they used to give them a hard time. So you see where the game needs to go into schools. It needs to recruit more people from schools to help, to better the situation. And let's start seeing some change after the death of George Floyd, because everybody was saying after the death of Floyd, this is going to happen, that is going to happen. This MP was saying this, that MP was saying that. We're going to do this or we're going to do that. It's what's happening? What is happening? I don't hear anybody talking about it. Probably my ears is not big enough. I know I can chat a lot, but probably my ears is not big enough. Probably I need to have bigger ears. I don't hear nothing bad about it. I don't see it anywhere. But I gotta say as well, let me be skeptical. I gotta say as well, let me be skeptical because I don't hear it. I'm gonna batter myself now. Let me batter myself a bit. Because I don't hear it, maybe it's happening, but I just don't hear it. But if you guys hear it, let me know. I'd like to. Well, if you guys hear it, let me know. And the telephone number should be coming up on your screen. You know what I mean? If you guys hear it, let me know. Because I haven't heard it. And you can give us a call. And let me know if you hear it. Or if you hear anything being done. What has been done? The other thing I'm a little bit cheesed off with is when the Black Lives Matters started and people were saying, don't get me wrong, all lives matters. Every lives matter. But it's like this, right? Let me put it this way. If you got a man in the street, right? And somebody's kicking him, he needs help. That man at that particular time needs help. That is the thing what I see about Black Lives Matter. Yes? You can't keep kicking him. That means he needs rescue. If you see a lady being battered in the street, God help it not. If you see a lady being battered in the street, you are going to go over and rescue her. And that's what's happening. You know what I mean? That is what is happening. So that's what Black Lives Matter was. People don't say, oh, all lives matter, or one matter. Some people went and formed different party, different party, this party, that party. As my granny would say, cow fat head dead horse party. That's what my grandmother would say. You know what I mean? Cow fat dead horse all kind of party. Everybody wants to be in a different party when one party started. Instead of they all join together, right, and fight the damn thing. Don't forget, please call us on 07872443765. Yeah, I know. But do you see what I'm saying? And I say, if you see anything happens, and it's no use you just sit there and says, I'm all right, Jackie, I'm all right, because this is about your kids and the next generation behind you. It's all right, you live in your nice little house and feeling good and feeling all right. You know what I mean? This is about the next generation and your kids and what is happening and what's happening in the world. And without doing something, you can't just sit and take it. There has to be some changes. So that's why I ask. And as I say, the sad thing when and the good thing about it, which I thought is that, which I actually loved. Since I was born and since I became who I am, for the first time in my entire life, I saw what you could say white people was with these protests. They were supporting. They was very supporting. And that's the first time in my entire life, and I think even my mother's life. My mother no longer with us. I think that's the first time if my mother was alive, she would have said, my God, son, wagwan. That's the first time I ever see that in my life. So it was good to see that. You know what I mean? A lot of people were supporting this and saying, Black Lives Matter. And I say, all life does matter. It's not because it's just Black Lives Matter. All life does matter. But, as I say, we don't see anything significant which is happening. And it needs to get on the ball. We need to see it getting on the ball. My guest is almost here. So, you should be talking to my guest very, very soon. And I said this program is about rant. And I'm sure she's going to have a rant to me. So, Elaine, are you there? Hello?
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
Oh, you're sounding good. You sounding good.
Oh, yes.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm good. Had a good day.
Have you been here in the program?
Have I been what, sorry?
Have you been listening to the program?
I listened to the beginning, then I had to go off and make my dinner.
Okay, let me be nosy then. What did you have for dinner?
I had a mishmash. Actually, I sampled one of Ainsley Harriot's, partly sampled one of his recipes. It was like a Trinidadian recipe.
Was it nice?
I can't remember the official title, but he had a mixture of Trinidadian cuisine and these usual Mediterranean stuff.
Serious?
Mixture of chickpeas, plant-based foods, and I threw in some prawns. Just because I need a little bit of something, but I don't eat meat, so it was really nice.
It was really nice.
Like a curry style meal.
Thank you for advertising that. I'm joking. I'm joking. Thank you.
I'm sure other people watch it.
I know. I'm just, I gotta get my laughing. I'm joking. You know what? So.
You stay there. Ainsley's watching this, so you carry on. You carry on, mate.
You make me laugh. So, how's your day been? How you have David?
It's been good. Restful.
Is it?
My one day off.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, on my day off, I try to just relax.
Yeah.
And recompose, because I know that when I go back to work, it's full on.
Yes.
So I've had a relaxing day.
That's marvelous. And have you been? And what about the weather? How you feel about the weather?
It's been okay. Today was pretty good, and yesterday. Yesterday I thought, it's going to rain, but it started out sunshine early in the morning, then it started to cloud over, and then it was really, really nice.
Okay. And what about the allergies? Have you got any allergies?
Oh, good grief! Don't even go. Yesterday I went out.
Yeah.
I'm house hunting, so I went out to view a property.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful day. Walking around, I had my face covering on. I always keep it on because I do suffer really badly with allergies.
Serious.
And I find that having the face covering on protects me from a lot of the toxins and all of that stuff that I could be breathing in.
Yeah.
When I got home, I took my brazen self, got out of the car, and didn't put my mask back on.
Yeah.
When I got into the house, within half an hour, sneeze, cough. I went to bed early because I thought I was going to die.
Wow.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was really, really yesterday, and I know the pollen count was high yesterday.
I'll tell you.
Just taking my face covering off for those few minutes. Amazing. It was horrible. I mean, this morning I had to take an antihistamine, which I try not to.
Yeah.
But I had to take one last night because it was really bad.
Yeah. You know what? Last week, I mean, I haven't felt like this last week. And last week, I wake up in the morning and I felt like somebody punched me in the eye.
Oh dear. Allergies.
Yeah, that was an allergy. And I literally on my right eye, when I seen it, it was blood red, and I never punched myself in the eye. It was just it was just the allergy. It was just the allergy. I've had it about 5 years ago, and then I was fine. You know what I mean? And then everything settled down. But I said last week I get up and it makes your eyes so sore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it makes it so terrible, and it makes you feel so bad. You know what I mean? And I said, it's like I felt like somebody literally punched me in the eye.
Wow. That's kind of nice.
It's calmed down now. It's calmed down. You know what I mean? But I can still, you know what I mean? I don't want to touch it. And even when you just go like, if you just go like this.
Yeah.
Man, the pain you feel, you know what I mean? And it's just a simple allergy, and I don't know what causes it, you know what I mean? I don't know what causes it. I say,
it sounds like something like pollen related, or something that's aggravating your histamine production.
I suspect that. It could well be like that. Anyway, what's on your mind, girl?
Well,
let off on me now. Let off on me now.
Right, I've got a couple of things, to be honest.
Okay.
The first one, a conversation I've been having with a few friends over the past few weeks, few months, in fact.
Yeah.
About, I'll say the main one, because if I go into all of my rants, we'll be on here all night.
Yes.
I have to get to bed at some stage. So I'll talk about the main one, which is our generation. When I say our generation, I mean the Generation Xers, who are the 40, 50 somethings.
Okay.
Born between, 1965 and 1970.
Okay.
75, I think it is, 71 or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, in the past 2 weeks, no, tell a lie, 3 weeks, I've heard of 6 people that I either went to school with or grew up with have passed away.
Okay.
And before the pandemic, and to be honest, during the pandemic, but more so just before the pandemic struck, there were people of my generation, and I can only say that because I'm in that Generation X gap, 50-somethings, 40-somethings, who just passed away, and you're thinking, hold on, but they were perfectly okay, so what happened? So it started to concern me because, you know, a few of the people that passed away were friends of mine, and perfectly okay one day, next day, completely gone.
Yeah, but do you think you we've missed a trick there in the context that I recall years ago when I was talking to some guys in the 50s when I was probably about 19, 20, you know what I mean, in those sort of, I remember one gentleman said to me, he was a senior citizen, very well educated man and very knowledgeable. What he said to me, he says, Carl, when you're 18, 19, you know what I mean, you don't sort of realize, you know what I mean, what that sort of is, that like people is dying regular, you know what I mean. But when it says you get to the next stage, say you're reaching your 40s or your 50s, you know what I mean, going to that sort of thing, you sort of notice those people because you're sort of close to those people who, you know what I mean, as well as you're sort of close to those people, and you notice even more. And he says when you come out your 50s and go and say, you know what I mean, you start noticing even more because a lot of those people sort of in their 70s, you know what I mean, they've reached what you call what we say the 3 scores and 10, you know, and you go, don't you? You know what I mean? I'm just you see where I'm going with that, you know what I mean? So I'm asking you, it's probably because you haven't noticed it so much. And because the pandemic is around, we're probably noticing it even more. So, you know what I mean? We probably, you know what I mean? Because we're worried and think, oh, is it going to happen to me? It's not going to happen to me. So you're probably...
Yes, You're probably... I noticed it before the pandemic.
Yeah, you probably noticed things more, you know?
Yeah. And I had the discussions with friends and people I knew before the pandemic. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
With all the people I know are pretty much my generation.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with our generation? And I started to look into it even further because I thought, no, something's not right. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody. I work in the health and wellness industry.
Okay.
And I work with a lot of people in their 60s, 70s, and also 30s, 40s. Yeah. Some younger. Mm-hmm. And a guy in his 70s who was a client of mine, and a relative of his had passed. And it was a younger relative. Yeah. And the parent was devastated because that, and in his words, that is not the natural order of things. Okay. And those words just made my ears pop up and think, wow, you know something? Yeah. You're right, it's not the natural order, but it's happening. Why is it happening? You see. And then I started to look more into things, and I realised that our generation, 40, 50s, if you look at research and stats and data and all of that stuff and really look into it, it goes back to the 80s and 70s when we were growing up and getting to that stage of life where we, like you said, we didn't take much notice of stuff. Yeah. And recently also, not recently, it's been around for a long time, but because I've been looking into it, suicide rates amongst black men, which isn't advertised, isn't put on the media, it's never out there. Okay. But when you look into it, you think, what? And I can only talk about black men, well, I don't like using that word, African Caribbean men. Yeah, you're the same as me, yeah. Because, you know, it's a word that automatically comes out your mouth, even though I don't like to use it. African Caribbean men. You just think, why is that not out there in the media for us to see? What is going on? When I look further back into it, it went back to the days of apparently recreational drug use in the 80s. You think? And a lot of deaths, or Generation X deaths, are related to the recreational drug use of the 70s and 80s and the way that we lived our lives back then. And I'm like, yeah, but we're managing to live another 30, 40 years after that. Yeah. Well,
I think I've slightly heard I think I've slightly heard something. Not exactly what you're saying. I've slightly heard something like what you're saying, but I didn't hear it about drugs. What I actually heard about, I'm not talking about our generation in particular. I'm talking about generation when you look at different generation. And what I actually heard it about, it was food.
It was what? Sorry.
It was food. It was about the food you eat.
The food was the next thing I was going to come on to.
It was about the food you eat within those particular period of time, you know what I mean? And what sort of food you eat in that particular time, you know what I mean? So you talk about recreational things, but as I say, I've had that conversation many years ago, long time, and as I say, I heard it about the food. That you know what I mean, like if you like eat a lot of like dairy products and you know all the high cholesterol and the sort of fatty meats, you know what I mean, that they eat like some people used to eat those fatty things, you know what I mean. It affects them later on, and that's what I sort of heard. So, but your point is quite good. That is quite a very good point. Very good.
You could say that, but when I started to relate it to food, because I didn't believe it was, because I didn't hang around with social circles that were into taking drugs and things like that. So I can't relate to that.
Not me. Yeah,
but I can't relate to it. So I relate it more to our diets back then.
Yeah.
What were we eating?
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Yeah, totally.
It was through no fault of our own, because really, I mean, I know at the age of between 15 to 25, I was still at home. So I was eating what Mum cooked.
Exactly. Myself as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They seem to be okay on the food.
Yes.
I mean, my parents lived until their 80s, recently passed, but they're in their 80s, which I think is a good age.
Well, my mother, my whole family, even my family back in Jamaica, even my whole family they lived a very, very long time. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they probably see this program now and they say, yes, you're right, Carl. But they live a very, very long time. My mother lived a very, very long time. You know what I mean? You know, I said to my brother, I got to tell my little mother lived into her 90s, right?
That's fantastic.
And she, you know what? Even at 90, even at the age of 90, my mother still used to go to the supermarket on her own.
That's fantastic.
And she used to go shopping around. And when I said to her, I go and see her every day and make sure she was all right. And when I said to her, where you been, Mom? Oh, I've just come in from the supermarket. I said, I have to say, you must be careful, you know, you want to go to the supermarket. And, you know, she used to say, no, but in that trouble, man. We just go to the shop. And that's how she...
My mom used to say the same thing.
And that's what she said. She said, I'm not going to trouble me. I'll go on my own, you know what I mean? So it was great. And as I said, I sometimes said to my brother, I remember saying to my brother, I think when our mom passed, and we was talking, I said, you know what? I've never seen our mom with a cold. All her life.
There you go.
And she never, you know, even though we live in England, she never really pad up herself. You know what I mean? She never really pad up herself. So I think it's probably what you put in you in those early days.
Well, my father was the same. My father passed last year.
Yeah.
And my dad I never knew my dad to have a cold.
Yeah.
Sniffle every now and then, but he never had a full-blown cold like I did. When I get a cold, you know I've got a cold.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he was healthy right up until his last days.
Yeah.
Really, really was. But I personally think that doing my own research and looking into it myself, it's down to the food that we were eating then.
I totally...
Because if you think of our parents, before they came to this country, they were eating quite healthy diets.
That's right.
Even though now they're trying to say, medical research is trying to say, the Caribbean or the African diet is not good because we're all suffering with diabetes and high blood pressure and all of that, and it's because of the food. I don't think it is at all.
No, I totally agree. I totally.
Caribbean and Africa are
fresh, and I'm just gonna phrase it fresh, freshly cooked. Freshly done, freshly prepared. You know what I mean? You don't have to. You don't.
In the fridge, nothing stored in salt or anything like that.
You've got it. No, it's fresh food. Everything was fresh and fantastic and great. You know what I mean? So I do believe that fresh things. You know what I mean? And that's sort of diet. I heard scientists always this because what you eat and this and that and Elaine, I totally support what you're saying, and I actually think it's the food. And I sort of hear, as I say, I heard this story a lot. I talked to somebody many years ago, you know what I mean, and as I was just saying, and I always thought, and they were saying when they eat all this whole heap of fatty things, you know what I mean, it affects the generation, and I think that's what it is. Anyway,
very much so.
Yeah. Anyway, Len, my time is coming to a close, and I know you have to go to your bed.
Don't tell the world, mate.
I know you have to go. I know you.
Yes, I have to be up early.
I know you have.
It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you. And where can we find you? Because you do a fitness program, don't you?
Oh yes, I do. Am I allowed to say?
Sorry?
Am I allowed to say?
Of course you're allowed to say.
I do a fitness program on New Star Radio, 98.7 FM,
Okay.
on a Thursday between 1 and 3 p.m.
And
It's about health and wellness, anything to do with health and wellness, keeping yourself fit, and music in between, just to break up the talk, really. Music that I love.
And do you enjoy that?
Oh, I love it.
You love it?
Love it, 100%. It's like, because I work in the health and wellness field and I love it so much, it's not like work.
And how do you find health and wellness? How do you do this?
How do I find it, sorry? Fantastic. I mean, you know, I like the fact that I go to work, and a lot of the time I work from home as well, because I also work for myself. And I'm helping somebody to reach their fitness, to reach the goal of their fitness journey.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people now on that journey they've, especially after this pandemic, a lot of people have turned their lives around and like, you know, we want to get fitter, we want to be healthier, you know, or they've lived through the COVID pandemic themselves, they've had it themselves. And I work with a lot of COVID post-sufferers as well. And the fact that they're alive, they're just so happy that they just completely want to turn their lives around and lead a healthier lifestyle. And it's nice to know that I can give them advice and guidance and lead them in the right direction. And they actually see something from it. They actually, you know, achieve something from that. So I love it.
And have you always done that?
Yeah, for many years. I mean, I had another career, but before that career, I was in the health and wellness field. Then I took a break to do this career because I thought, you know what, this is an opportunity that might not come across again. So do it for now. And then after that career ended, I went back into health and wellness. To be honest, I never really left that field of work. I always had my finger in some sort of health and wellness pie, so to speak.
Yeah. And did you start that when you were sort of what do you say? When you were sort of young? Did you start? Oh, you've been at it.
Yeah, when I was 18, I went to a gym.
Yeah.
Back then it was Curves and Corinthians, so that's giving away my age. And then, you know, and then I thought, I don't like it here. This isn't me. Yeah. And I walked into a bodybuilding gym one day.
Serious.
Full of men, sawdust on the floor, smelled sweaty, and I thought, you know what? I could do this. And because they saw me coming in, all of them wanted to help me because I was the only female in there. And like the manager took me under his wing and he says, you're strong, you know. He said, have you ever thought of bodybuilding? I'm like, no, I'm not interested. I ended up going down that route, but I did natural bodybuilding. I didn't go down the route of the hardcore stuff where you have to take all the, I'm not into that. I loved it.
Yeah.
And because I was like a string bean back then, it was nice to put on a bit of bulk. In the places where I wanted to, through weight training and through healthy eating.
I mean, I've always gone into things like that. You know, I mean, I've always been into things like that. I recall, I've always done something all throughout my life. You know what I mean? I've always been friends with. But again, and I'm very active. You know what I mean? I am a very active. So
that's a good mentality to have. You know, look after yourself.
I've always been. Honestly, I've always done something, and I've always liked doing something, and I always do something. You know what I mean? So that's it. Anyway, let me say thank you, Elaine. Thank you so much. And catch you soon, whatever you're doing. And thank you for taking part.
Thank you for inviting me on. Thank you.
Into the program. It's been great. Thank you. Have a great night. Look after yourself. And
Will do.
What time? Let me ask now. Let me be nosy. What time do you get up in the morning?
4 o'clock.
Okay.
4 a.m.
Let me say thank you very much. Look after yourself.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
God bless you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks once again to Elaine, our wonderful lady who has told us what's on her mind. And wasn't she fantastic? I gotta say, she was great. Thank you. Thanks. I enjoyed that chat, and I'm sure she enjoyed that chat. And as I say, this program is produced by Break Tru TV at gmail.com. And let me say, I want to thank our sponsors, our wonderful sponsors, the ACMC. Those are one of our sponsors. And then we've got a few more sponsors. New Style Live is another one of our sponsors. And let me say thank you so much. Break Tru Studio Record mix master. They will do rap on all the different reggae and all the different, different genres of music. The reggae jam taste of Jamaica. Yeah, get in touch with us. Also, the reggae jam jerk center, and that is also a taste of Jamaica. Doesn't that look nice? I think I'll have some of that for my lunch tomorrow. And let me say thank you once again. And it's Break Tru Video Production. And I say, if you need some live stream, get in touch and it can be done. And we do funerals and all the rest of it. My time is up. Take care. God bless. I'm Carl, and all being well, we should be back here next week. Same time, same place. The time is always right to do the right thing. I'm out. Look after yourself.